Well, it's Friday, and you all know what that means. That means it's AEW Rampage. We got a lot of cool things that are taking place. We have, of course, Aussie Open in action. So is The Claim and plenty other. But our main event is, in fact, the TBS title on the line. Chris Statlander defends it against the woman she defeated for this title back at Double or Nothing. We're talking about none other than Jade Cargill. So the question does tell, who is going to walk out? Will Chris Statlander remain as champion, or Jade Cargill becomes the first ever two-time TBS champion? Well, we'll find out. But also we're going to see who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up. But first things first, across the Pacific all the way to Japan, we're going to review a much recent event by DDT Pro Wrestling, Big Bang. So we do have a couple of title matches. The DDT six-man tag team titles are on the line. So we're gonna have a crowning of a double championship for the Extreme and the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship, and of course our main event is the KOD Openweight Championship between Chris Brooks and Shigeru Iri, who has been champion before. So we'll see how that progresses. But also we have some news updates to tell what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling, such as what the events, the promotions are throwing out, who's booked, and of course what matches are set. Also checking out if any injured wrestlers have taken place, or any wrestlers are either signed or departing from any promotion. The whole enchilada. So let's get ready for another episode of the Deleted Wrestle Zone.
Are you ready? Get up, get up. 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 Get up, get up.
Welcome everybody to Deleted Wrestle Zone, all things that is pro wrestling with AEW, NXT, New Japan Pro Wrestling, Impact Wrestling, the National Wrestling Alliance, various promotions, wrestlers, matches, and championships. I am your host, Jay right here. So, if you are new to the channel, welcome. This is where we do a lot of review dailies from your various famous promotions that you may or may not have heard of. If you like this channel, please subscribe to us. We'll be throwing a lot of reviews on different timings, but also we do some other cool stuff, such as the Unagi Sayaka Watch, where we follow this Joshi wrestler who left Stardom to go freelancing. We have some discussion videos. We have also some news updates to keep up what's been going on in the world of pro wrestling and various other things. So if you like this episode as well, please click the like button on us to say you like this episode, and also leave us a nice comment on the bottom below. So let's begin with our very first review, and this is coming from the Japanese promotion DDT. So this promotion just recently had their show Big Bang, which features a lot of good matches involved. So let's get started for the first one. Our first one is a six-man tag team match. Team number one, we have Yuni, Kazuma Sumi, and Rakuya taking on Masahiro Takanashi, Illusion, and Antonio Honda. Now, I know some of these people in the first team. I am familiarized with Kazumi Sumi, who is a young boy. But however, the other team, well, they seem like they're ready to do their thing. I mean, the one thing they have to be more careful is, of course, is Antonio Honda, who somehow likes to throw in his little bag of tricks, stopping the matches, throwing a little favor, and then that's pretty much it. But however, it was, of course, Masahiro Takanashi with a crucifix on Ryuki in order to pick up the win. So it was pretty good. Now, I wasn't too pumped on the match, but it was interesting. Next up, we have Akito versus Yuki Ino. Now, this is a very important match. Now, I have been following these two guys for a while. These two guys know each other very well from their time when they were part of a faction known as All Out. That team just disbanded about maybe 2 years ago or so. But ever since then, Akito, who has been going independent, basically not siding with anybody. As for Yuki Ino, he's part of the group known as the Pheromones, a bunch of groups that fruitcakes who likes to pull their pants down, get people's faces up their asses, that way. Akito inherited this task to get rid of them by Tagagi, who in fact has had enough of them. So basically, Akito decided, felt like he inherited a mess that not even his boss can handle, but he was able to handle it properly. But however, I think there was some really good moments. But the one thing he has to be more careful is knowing that Dino, Yuki's tag team partner, is right there watching. But the one thing that was crazy is, of course, when pull his gear down and you can see him with his jock strap and his bare ass. But of course, later all of a sudden, Dino got involved and decided to help Yuki to have Akito's face right in his ass. But however, one thing happened is, apparently they used the fire extinguisher on Akito, and apparently Akito was in fact in his own jockstrap, where you can see his own bare ass as well. But however, they decided to throw this into a sumo fight. However, something has happened that, of course, DDT refuses to broadcast. I'm going to presume that they went naked or so. I don't know exactly if that was the case because it was blocked for a while. I wasn't too bothered by it, but however, in the end, it was Akito who picked up the win when he applied a bridge onto Yuki Ino. However, what I did learn that this was significant, that if Akito wins, that means the Pheromones will be disbanded. However, Akito had other plans. He decided to give these guys another chance to purify them. So, like, leave your little shenanigans behind and be wrestlers. That's what he's demanding. So basically, of course, they accepted the offer. But we'll see if they can hold to their standard, because they cannot be sexy again. Now, our next match, we have another trios match. We have Takeshi Masada, Yuya Koroku, and Yukio Naya taking on Soma Takao, Kazushi Iguchi, and Arashima. I thought this match was going to be interesting. However, I kind of had a feeling that this was going to be very in the favor of team number 2, Harashima, Soma Takao, and Iguchi, due to the fact that Iguchi is a former KOD openweight champion, and of course Yuki Naya is the next top star, the next rising star in DDT since Takeshita left. But however, it was Iguchi who applied a power bomb onto Kuruku to pick up the win. So very interesting right from there. Now, our next match is a winner-take-all type match. It's for the DDT Extreme title and the DDT Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship in a all humans are equals Kazuki Irada's death match. So basically, the Extreme Champion Irada is challenging Naruki Doi, who is in fact at the time was the Iron Man Heavy Metal Champion. However, he had to dress up like him. There was some interesting moments that were going on. I thought it was real funny, but however, in the end, it was, of course, Irada with the inside cradle to pick up the win out of nowhere. However, during the post-match comments, he did thank Doi for, playing a nice game with him. But however, he received a letter, Irada received a letter from none other than our current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, Hiromu Takahashi. But all of a sudden, Takahashi showed up, tried to pin Irada, because everybody knows if you are the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Champion, you have to defend it all times, 24/7. But Irada was able to escape it, but of course, Hiromu set up some sort of proposition. I don't know what it was, but it was interesting. But he tried to pin, but Irada ran because he knew he was an idiot. He knows that he could lose the Iron Man Heavy Metalweight Championship, because I know for firsthand he has received that belt before. Now, our next match is another winner-take-all type match, but this is for the six-man tag team titles from two different promotions. The first one is from All Japan Pro Wrestling with the Television World Tag Team titles, World Six-Man Tag titles to be exact, versus the KOD Six-Man Tag Team titles. The challengers are nothing than Yankee 2 Kenju, consistent of Asami Kodaka and Yuko Miyamoto, teaming up with Ram Kaicho. They take on the members of Eruption. We're talking about Hideki Okatani, Saki Akai, and Yukio Sakaguchi. Now, these guys won the All Japan titles not too long ago. I haven't seen the match, but I will put that at some other point when I'm watching the during a special episode. So I'll do that at some point, but I don't know when. I thought it was a very interesting matchup because it was different. I mean, now they're allowing, like, okay, but also the history was made. Saki Akai is the first ever female to ever held an All Japan title, so that she made history. And I have to say, she made a good history right before she makes her retirement in November. But nonetheless, that's how it rolls up. But in the end, of course, it was a knee strike by Sakaguchi onto, who was it? Onto Miyamoto to retain the title. So, Eruption managed to say, excuse me. Now, our next match, we have a very interesting match. We have a time difference scramble bunkhouse current blast six-man tag team death match. Representing DDT, we have Yusuke Okada, Shinjiro Takagi, and Jun Akiyama taking on Toi Kojima, Yoshitatsu, and Atsushi Onita. So I thought this match was going to be fun, and of course there was going to be a lot of explosions that you probably would not have imagined, but it did. However, Onita applied a miss to the face to Takagi, but it was Yoshitatsu who picked up the win by pinning Takagi. 1, 2, 3 is over. I don't know what Takagi was thinking or what he's thinking right now after losing, but we'll see what happens until then. Now, our next match is the KOD Tag Team titles. We have the challengers, Damnation TA, consisted of Kanon and Minoru Fujita, taking on the champions, Omega, consistent of Makoto Oishi and Yuji Ino. So I thought it was a pretty interesting match. Now, Damnation TA are the only villain faction in DDT, but you probably would have assumed that there was going to be dirty tricks play. But however, no. Kanon was able to pick up a win by applying a crossface on Oishi to pick up the win and become the brand new KOD Tag Team Champions. I'm sure their boss, Sasaki, is so happy that this happened. Now, speaking of Sasaki, he is in our next match. We have a tag team match. Sasaki teams up with none other than Konosuke Takeshita, where Takeshita faces off his former teammates, 37 Kamina. Now, however, there is an important story role in this one in every capacity. Now, Yuki Ueno, who is now determined who has stepped up as the leader of 37 Kamina, but at the same time feeling, I'm going to take the spot of Takeshita. So basically, he feels that now that Takeshita's gone, focusing on America, that it's now his job to step up as the next person that will fill up the shoes for Takeshita. But Takeshita feels, hey, you with those guys with 37 Kamina, they're going to make you weak. But however, Yuki Ono was not going to tolerate with him. Even Sasaki kind of agrees with Takeshita about it. But Ueno teamed up with Mao, another member of 37 Kamina. So you would have think. But however, Shumna Katsumata even gets himself involved. He accidentally hits Yukio with the clutch, but that's what happened. There were mistakes made on Yuki Uno. I don't know if they thought, oh, they hit you, that means Yuki Uno is going to side with us. But no matter how things were going, no matter how much that there was misfires, Yuki Uno was not going to defy him, no matter what he does. But however, it was Yuki Uno who picked up the win on a moonsault on Sasaki to pick up the win. However, during a post-match promo, Yuki Uno made his decision that he is staying with 37 Kamita because he feels with them they can accomplish many things. I'm sure Takeshita may not like what he sees, but however, Mouse has some unfinished business with Takeshita. So basically, Takeshita did not appreciate that, so he said he will come back later to deal with Mao. So we'll see how that rolls up as well. Now, our main event, we have the KOD Openweight title. We have Shigehiro Irie taking on Chris Brooks, the current champion. I thought this was a very interesting match. Shigehiro, he's a big dude. He is a powerhouse. Chris Brooks, who is one of the most, he's a very impressive wrestler, very slick what he can do. However, you probably would imagine that Shigehiro, who's been the champion before, would have known what that like. But however, it was a underhook pile driver that put him away, not once, but twice, giving him the edge to retain the title. However, during there was a post-match promo by Chris Brooks speaking to Irie, and then all of a sudden we saw none other than Saki Akai. Apparently Saki Akai, as you know, her time is almost running up, so she decided to go for it and issue the challenge for the KOP Openweight Champion. Now, Chris Brooks probably would not like the idea, but why not? So that match will take place soon. So I can't wait to see where that's going to happen sooner or later. I think that's pretty much it what we have for DDT Pro Wrestling. I believe it's time to move on with our next review, and that is AEW Rampage. Alright, AEW Rampage. It opened up with a 8-man tag team match. On one side we have Jay Lethal and Jeff Jarrett teaming up with the Butcher and the Blade, taking on a pair of brothers. We're talking about the Lucha Brothers and the Hardys. But of course, we saw too many seconds, mostly coming from the other side with Butcher and the Blade, Jarrett and Lethal. Of course, the other members of the Dickwads were involved. But also, we have Kit Sabian and Penelope Ford getting involved. But the only advantage is that they have more people on that side, while the other side has Zaya Cassidy, and Alex Brahamontes. You probably would have thought there was going to be a lot of chaotic moments. Of course there was going to be chaotic moments. But not to mention, there was a moment here where Alex Brahamontes was getting on the top of the turnbuckle to jump out when the referee was occupied. Sanjay Dutt actually tried to stop him, but he got himself beat up by getting a whack in the head. And then, of course, Chris Sabian shows up. He tried to punch him in the face. Did not work, but nothing works more than the poking the eyes, which was more effective. But, however, Alex Brahamontes was taken out when he got caught by Satnam Singh. But later, all things went up to hell when, of course, the Dickwads were getting in the face of the Hardys. But, however, it was the Ray Phoenix with the driver on Blade to pick up to win. But however, while the Dickwads were in fact dealing with the Hardys, they left them laying for dead. But in the post-match, all of a sudden the Righteous, Vincent and Butch, showed up. I don't know what's the deal with those guys, but it seems like they're maybe targeting them. We'll see what happens. Now, during an interview with Britt Baker, Renee Paquette conducted trying to tell her that things did not go her way the last couple of months. As you remember, she did not win the AEW Women's World Title at All Out. She did not, in All Out, she did not get the #1 contendership. So basically, she knows that things are not going her way. However, she decided, you know what? I'm going to make history, because that's what I'm known for. I'm known for making history, so now she's going to target the TBS title, and she wants to be the first ever woman to hold both titles. Now, keep in mind, she is the former AEW Women's World Champion, so most likely she could do that. So she says she will pay attention closely between Chris Statlander and Jade Cargill. Now, I don't know what in the world is going on with QT TV. As you know, QT took off an excursion defending the AAA Latin America title. He is not paying attention to what's going on, of course, with his crew. We're talking about the Key TV tour. Apparently, Johnny TV seems to be taking control of it. However, things are becoming chaotic. So we'll see how that goes around. Now our next match we have, of course, is Matt Sell and Christopher Daniels, who were former ROH Tag Team Champions. They face off the Kingdom, Matt Taven and Mike Bennett, also former ROH Tag Team Champions. However, you probably can tell that they're pretty much pissed off how things have been going for them, knowing that their friend Roderick Strong's in a hospital, and the person they blamed the most for this mess is none other than Adam Cole. However, it was the Proton Pack that allowed for the Kingdom to win the match, and then they decided that they are, in the post-match promo, they declared that they will want to challenge the ROH World Tag Team Champions. We're talking about MJF and Adam Cole, to get a measure of revenge for what happened for Roderick Strong. Now our next match with Renee Paquette, the Mogul Embassy, was consistent of Prince Nana, Brian Cage, and Swerve Strickland, are not happy how things turn around. I mean, Prince Nana got himself super kicked, same thing that Brian Cage. But Swerve Strickland thinks that, oh, you ran back into, of course, the Elite, where you needed them the most. He feels that Hangman has become a coward. I mean, we don't know if that was the case or not, but I wouldn't be surprised if the Bucks decided we're going to step up for him. But, of course, we'll see how that happens. But they did say that next week they would like to see the Elite versus the Mogul Embassy. So they think that the odds are now on their side. Now, next match, we have the Acclaim, along with Daddy Ass, taking on the Outrunners and Peter Avalon. You probably can guess that this match ended with the Acclaim winning the match as soon as the mic drop was placed onto Peter Avalon, and that's pretty much it. However, all of a sudden, the Dark Order, consistent of Uno, Silver, and Reynolds, show up, issue that they want to have an opportunity of the AEW Trios Championship. However, they decided to have a little fun, had a little match here where one member from each represented team will be facing off, and that's going to happen on Collision. So we'll see when that heads out. Now, our next match, we have Aussie Open, Fletcher and Davis taking on Damian Chambers and Lord Cruz. I can tell you that this match ended with Aussie Open applying the Coriolis onto Lord Cruz, and that was over right from there. Now, our next match is our main event, the TBS Championship. Chris Statlander defends it against the former champion, Jade Cargill. I thought this match was so brutal. You probably would have thought there's going to be a lot of intensity in this match. Yes, even that Weasel, Smart Arsenal, tries to get involved, but apparently did not go her way. But it only took, of course, one shot for Chris Statlander to apply the Friday Night Fever, putting Jade Cargill away and pinning her. So Chris Statlander, of course, retained the title. And, of course, I did report recently that Jade Cargill will be finishing up with AEW, but we don't know how they're going to end this with her. But, however, we do know now that Chris Statlander will face Britt Baker at Collision. So we will be seeing that soon enough. But we'll see what happens. So right now, let's move on with our next and final review, which is NXT Level Up. Okay, so who levels up on this latest episode of NXT Level Up? Let's find out. Our first match opened up with members of Metaphor, more consistently Jakara Jackson, the Lash Legend, taking on Danny Palmer and Tatum Paxley. Now, however, the X factor of this match is Paxley and Palmer. This is a makeshift team that was just lumped in together. So that's very common that we've seen in WWE or any promotion anywhere in the world. However, how would that play out? Well, you probably can guess that Jakara Jackson and Lash Legend, who have been much of a cohesive unit, has played out pretty well. But however, the most surprising moment that took place is when, of course, Palmer was reaching out to tag in Paxley, but Paxley, once again, just like what happened to Eva Niles, she turned her back on her. But however, the question is, why? And then later, of course, Paxley did state it to her, saying that I haven't forgotten the last time. So whatever beef had happened between those two, it was the reason of this loss that allowed Jackson and Lash Legend to win. Now, they can say they won all they want, but they just got lucky because Paxley was the one who decided to hightail out of it. I wouldn't be surprised if Palmer decides to get a little revenge measure against her. Now, before the next match, we have, of course, an interview between Tarek Igwe and Tyson DuPont, who, of course, are two names who are now being recognized in NXT Level Up. They even have established themselves, but however, they are yet to pick up a win. But they feel like guys like Bronco Lima and Price, their opponents they'll be facing, well, they feel like, you know, all this and that about themselves. But however, how does Lima and Price things? Well, that would happen in the next match. However, recently we have been seeing Lima and Price have been very much cohesive ever since they said they've known each other since they were kids, and not to mention getting managerial advice from none other than Scripps, who was always by their side. That's always been played out. However, it was a double team on on DuPont, taken out until Prince decided to pin DuPont 1, 2, 3. It was over right from there. Now, our next match, as you know, we continue with more of the Global Heritage Invitational with Group B, I believe. Group B, it consisted of Tyler Bate, the big strong boy, taking on, of course, Charlie Dempsey. Now, Dempsey, as you know, is still winless on this whole thing. And just recently, Tyler Bate just had a match taking on, I think, Axiom. But this is a very much interesting matchup. I mean, these two men are completely different from each other. I mean, you look at Charlie Dempsey, who has much of the experience as a technical wrestler, to put you in a submission, while Tyler Bate uses his strength as a vocal point to pick up some good matches in Raw. But however, how would this play out? Well, it was a jackknife that put away Dempsey by Tyler Bate, allowing himself to pick up the win. So he's probably currently tied with Butch. I wouldn't be surprised the finals between the respected groups will be Butch and Tyler Bate, since they've known each other before. So we'll see how that rolls up from there on. So I think that's pretty much it what we have for NXT Level Up. Let's move on with our last and final thing, news updates. Okay, so welcome to our news update. So this is what we have so far. Now, two updates are coming in from Prestige Wrestling. The first one is, of course, Respect the Issue that takes place later on this month, I believe on the 29th. We have Galeno del Mal taking on Dinastia. So I don't know much about who that guy is. Galeno del Mal, I know much about him. I know he's part of the Wagner family. His grandfather is Dr. Wagner, his dad is Dr. Wagner Jr., and of course you all know his brother, Dr. Wagner, hijo de Dr. Wagner Jr. himself. So it's pretty great that he's going to be doing this, so let's see. But the next update, of course, with Prestige is their upcoming event next month, Decimate the Week, that takes place on the 14th of October. Mio Momono from Marvelous will be making her debut, but however, she has now been placed to be in a match against Liza Hall. So I can't wait to see what Mio Momono, as you know, fellow Marvelous member will be also there, Takuri Iroha, I believe, and of course Unagi Saka, someone that they have faced before, but we'll see how that rolls up. Now, for the upcoming event in November, on the 26th, Ladies Night Out has announced that, of course, Renee Michelle will be making her appearance, so that's pretty good for her. However, that's not the case. That's also another interesting news. I think I might have put this. Yes. So it turns out that Renee Michelle will also make another appearance later on this month, early this month, on the 24th of September. She'll be heading to the UK for Progress Wrestling. I think I might have announced that she'll be debuting there, but however, it's already been announced that she will be facing someone named L.A. Tyler. I don't know, or La Tyler. I don't know how they pronounce this, but yes, this will be her first match there. Now, moving on, it's already been decided, as you know, Go Shiozaki, the winner of the N1 Victory Tournament, will face Jake Lee for the GHC Heavyweight Championship on the 24th of September. So I can't wait to see how this goes. But the obvious thing is, can Go Shiozaki pull off the unthinkable? Can he put down the unbeatable, the unstoppable force of Jake Lee? Well, we'll find out. Now, Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling has announced this very interesting news. As you know, next month on the 9th of October, we have Wrestle Princess 4, which is their version of WrestleMania. There's going to be a double championship crown match. The International Princess Championship will be defended. Rika Tatsumi defends her title, but she has to gain another title, and that title is the NWA Women's World Television title. That includes Max the Impaler. Max the Impaler has been showing up at Tokyo Joshi Pro Wrestling, so she'll put that title on the line. But the obvious thing is, can Rika Tatsumi pull off a miracle? Well, we'll see how that goes. Now, Spanish promotion based out of Spain, RCW, as you know, they announced the return of the World Cup on the 14th of October. They announced Swedish fighter named Elise Inc. will be there. I don't know much about her, but we'll see how that goes. PCW Ultra has announced 2 matches involving for their event Creature feature on the 28th of October. And these matches are title matches. The Ultra Light title, the champion, Brian Keith, the bounty hunter, defends his title against Jack Carwheel. I think that's going to be a good match. I don't know if I'll be able to see it, but it'll be great. However, that's not the only match taking place. We also have another title match. The Ultra Women's title, Viva Van defends her title against Zaya Brookside. So that's going to be interesting to hear. Now, 2 matches are announced for the upcoming Wrestling Revolver show, Revolver Women's Grand Prix. They'll take place on the 8th of October. And these are part of the first round matches of the tournament. We have Marina Shafir taking on the Kick Demon, Janai Kai. I can't wait to see that one. Then we have Billy Starks taking on Rachel Armstrong. That's going to be a very good one to taking place. Now, GCW updates here. 2 things have come around for the Fight Club event on the 7th of October. Charles Mason will have a rematch against Richard Holiday. As you know, recently he was in a match against Holiday at Crushed Up. He lost, so he will not take that loss very kindly. So we'll see how that rolls up as well. Now, also for the GCW updates, we have Blood on the Hills 2 taking place on the 14th of October. We have Violence Forever, Dominic Green and Kevin Koo taking on Los Macizos, Miedo Extremo and Ciclope. So I can't wait to see that as well. Now, as you all know, I've mostly been updating on what's been with the Spark Joshi Puroresu of America. As you know, this is a promotion that just recently started. They announced for their Rising Heat show, mostly coming from the West. But the biggest news has not been confirmed. Now, I've been wondering, are they going to do a show in the West like they did last time? Well, it turns out the wish has come true. Apparently, they are going to have a Rising Heat West. And get where this is going to take place. It's going to be in the LA Dojo. That's right. New Japan's LA Dojo. They're going to have their show there. And it will be taking place on the 11th of October. So if you guys are from the LA area, now you know where you're going to go. So try to get your tickets sooner if you're from that area. But however, more interesting developments. Now, Zeta Zhang has been announced that she will participate only for this particular show for the Rising Heat West in LA. But also another announcement, the debut of Maika Ozaki will be in both shows. So she will be in both Rising Heat shows on the 16th of October and of course on the 14th of October and of course on the 11th of October. Also, the ladies who have been announced to be at the East show will also be there at the West. So that's my pretty much understanding from what they're saying. So I will keep more updates on that. And I think that's pretty much it right now. So I say, let's call it a day. Well, I hope everybody enjoys this episode. Coming up, as you know, we have AEW Collision. However, there's still some shows I haven't seen yet. I haven't seen the latest Choker Pro show or the recent All Japan show either. So there's plenty I will be doing. So we'll see how this one progresses from here on out. But I'll just wing it, see how I could be able to do it. But if there's anything going on in the world update, I'll put that as a news update alert or news updates, something, whatever. But we'll see how it goes. But for now, I will see you guys in the next DWZ time. Same DWZ channel. I must bid all of you adieu. So, goodbye. Mwah. And have a nice day.